So Newton's laws, continuing that along with, we bring this picture back up again because it is one that is going to be fairly important as we continue on through everything, as we will find that a lot of the letters that we're going to use for Newton's second law are there, and a lot of the ones that we deal with again are going to be written in that red. And so those ones that are written in red are the ones that we will more likely see throughout this class. So Newton's second law is the one that not as many people care to know about or care about much at all. And that is, an object will only accelerate if there is a net force or an unbalanced force. How we do that, and in some ways, this is where the math is brought up into Newton's laws. Second law is if there is an acceleration, so if the object is accelerating, either positive or negative, there is a net force on the object. Okay? There are two things that affect the force that is on the object: the mass of the object and the acceleration of that object. Newton's first law kind of gives us a lot of this information already, in that Newton's first law is kind of that an object will stay in motion until acted upon differently. Well, that brings in this option for, or bring in the idea of Newton's second law, that it will continue to move unless acted upon by an unbalanced force or something else. So Newton's laws usually aren't that difficult to comprehend or understand, but we still have a large number of misconceptions about them. And that's usually what makes them difficult. It's not that the content is difficult, it's that our preconceived notions of what we think we know doesn't always work. So we have essentially two equations. The summation symbol in front, that E symbol, is essentially saying the F net, all of the forces added up. It's kind of hard to read, but it does say that 1 pound is equivalent or equal to 4.45 newtons. Kind of inside that box there for some reason. And in all reality, either of those equations should be written down on your equation sheet. And that's why the pound is a weight measurement. And because the pound is a weight measurement, weight is a force, we can then use that to equate out to a pound, or similar to that of a pound. One of the more important things is drawing out Newton's second law, so that if we can't see where things are happening, or we can't draw an arrow. And yes, I understand that many of us could just draw random arrows wherever, but if we can't justify it, and we justify it through the use of the labeling that we use here to determine those things. So we see an object going down the ramp. We know that as we've seen a number of objects go down a ramp, it will accelerate. It goes faster. Well, we use Newton's second law to draw out the arrows to determine where the actual net force is. The weight is always going to be straight down. The normal force for the ramp to the box will always be perpendicular to the ramp. When we rearrange our triangles, we can now find where the F net is, in this case. And even if there were, say, frictional forces here, they would point backwards. They would point, usually friction is going to be in the opposite direction in which the object is moving. The net force, though, is still going to be, because the object rolls down or slides down the box, or in the ramp, down, the net force is still going to be there. The net force and the acceleration are always going to point in the same direction. So we bring the slide up here with the question, which one is the net force? So technically, they are all a part of the net force. And in some cases, maybe only gravity is involved, so it would be the only force involved, therefore it would be the net force. But sometimes friction is the only force involved, and therefore it's the net force. Sometimes it maybe is a magnet. Maybe it's only tension. But a lot of times there's more than one force acting on an object at a time, and therefore we have to add them up. And that's where, again, drawing things out is so important. It helps you identify if there is anything interacting. If there's an interaction and then there's not an interaction, it's sometimes best to draw out multiple pictures so that we can see it. Because sometimes seeing things helps us. A car has a mass of 1,000 kilograms. What is the acceleration produced by a force of 2,000 newtons? Chances are there is either hitting something or being hit by something under normal probably conditions. So again, mass of 1,000 kilograms. It has a force of 2,000 newtons. We're asked to solve for the acceleration. Now, in projectile motion, the acceleration was always gravity, and now we have to go back to thinking acceleration isn't always gravity, although gravity probably might have an effect on it. But in this case, what we're looking at is just force is equal to mass times acceleration. We're not given a lot of information, so we can only solve for what we know. And therefore, 2,000 newtons is equal to 1,000 kilograms times the acceleration. We would have an acceleration of just 2 meters per second squared. Now, how do we know the label? Well, the label for acceleration is always going to be meters per second squared normally. However, 1 newton is equivalent to 1 kilogram times meters per second per second. So in a way, a newton is just a nicer way of writing out a longer or more involved label. In chemistry, we called something like that the mole. So how much force or thrust must a 300 kilogram, wow, read and talk at the same time, jet plane develop to achieve an acceleration of 1 point, that is incorrect is there, that should be, we'll just write it as per second because that 2 just does not look right. So we have a fairly large mass, and we don't think, we're like, wow, that's not a very big acceleration, and in a way we're right, it is not a very large acceleration. But because the object has so much inertia or mass, we can go and get the answer it would require 45,000 newtons of thrust. We will talk more about thrust and impulses when we get into momentum after we've talked about energy, which is a couple units to go yet. And so the last equation that we have for today deals with weight, and weight is a force exerted by an object, by gravity. And if we look very closely, weight looks very similar to that of the force equation, but I put this in here just because of past controversy on not giving you the equation.